A very good evening to one and all. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Arushi, and today we'll be talking about art therapy. So, from the days of scrambling oil pastels colors in our SUPW workbooks or doodling art at the back of our notebooks, art has always been a form of expression when words fall short or when thoughts brood. Treading on this notion, we are delighted to have you join us for today's special session on embarking on a journey of self-discovery through art therapy. As part of our ongoing mental health awareness series, in collaboration with VIMHANS, this event is dedicated to exploring how art can be a profound tool for healing, growth, and self-expression. Art therapy goes beyond the act of creating. It's about uncovering emotions, transforming negative thoughts, and tapping into deep wells of our subconsciousness. Today we are fortunate to have with us an expert who has pioneered the use of art in mental health care in India, Mrs. Sonia Bhandari. Mrs. Sonia Bhandari, everybody. She's a consultant art therapist with 30 years of experience in a field as diverse as art, mental health, social work, early childhood education, and women empowerment. She specializes in using art as a therapy for all age groups, from children to the elderly, helping them transform their inner struggles into positive, creative expressions of patients and mental health disorders, guiding them to channel stress into positivity and spiritual well-being through art and mindfulness. Our pioneer in her field, ma'am is also a dedicated trainer, educating professionals in psychology, social work, and education on the transformative power of art therapy. Her journey with art therapy began as a personal quest to uplift society through joyful experiences and emotional healing. Today she works with the Women's Hospital, Reed India, and in her private practice in Delhi, bringing her unique approach to those in need. We are very excited to have you on board with us, ma'am. As we dive into this session, let's take a moment to reflect on how art can help us connect with our inner selves, confront our challenges, and find paths to healing that we might never have imagined. So whether you're here to learn, to heal, or simply to explore, we encourage you to engage fully. Let your creativity flow and embrace the potential for transformation that art therapy allows. We're delighted to have with you here with us. Our partner for this talk is The Mind Diaries, a first of its kind magazine in India on mental health and well-being. The Mind Diaries, running for over a year now, we are actually going to complete 2 years next month, aims to create awareness towards mental health and encourage seeking expert help. Besides first-person accounts of fighting back, there are expert columns, inspirational stories, and more. Before we hand over to our expert, we request you to please get ready with your questions, and for the end of the session, which is scheduled after this. Also, I request you all to please put your phones on silent and do not take pictures of the PPT. Thank you so much. On to our guest.
Thank you, Arushi. Thank you so much. So very good evening, everyone. And so what we're going to do is, how we're going to have today's session is I'm going to be sharing a presentation. Then I have some speakers over here who have experienced art therapy. And then we all will do art. Okay? And so how I want to start basically from a very, very profound moment of my life and that was when I was a kid, years back. And art therapy, yes, it's a paradigm today across the world. But when it wasn't, when I was a kid, this experience came in my life from my mother. And today is her birthday. Yeah? Yes. So she's no more, but it's a blessing that I'm getting this opportunity to take this forward with all of you. So as a kid, I never wanted to step out anywhere. I was also very shy. I was quite an introvert. And my mom, she would get the stock of art materials and she would just give it to me. And she would say, keep me busy. And the only thing I would look forward to was every year when the new books would come with every new class, I would get the ration of art materials. You know what ration is, right? So ration of art material. And that's what, and then when I would come from Bangalore, I hailed from Bangalore, got married in Delhi. And in Delhi, when I would come for my summer vacation, my aunt, my identity was with art. So my aunt would, as a kid, she would just tell me, take the newspaper, she would give me scissors, and she would say, ye bird kato. और देखना बहुत अच्छे से कटना चाहिए, So art, let's say we all think that art is micro and the rest is macro. No, art is macro, rest is micro. Okay, so I'm going to take you to an understanding. See, it's all over there in Google, everywhere. But I really want to take you from a personal experience, from the experience of not only mine, but from my wonderful, beautiful speakers over here. And I'm sure all of you too. Art, to begin with, I want to say is, I always say it's just like, when a child finds a mother or comes back from somewhere and is with a mother, the child feels very familiar, the child feels very comfortable. That's exactly how our brain recognizes art. I know of many patients who are very happy with just taking medicine, okay? And they're not ready to take therapy because they feel, I'm better feel kar raha hu, sab theek hai. But no, therapy is very, very important. And more so, art therapy is very important. Why? Because when we are only dependent on external support, we are not tapping the potential lying within us. And that potential is innate in us. When we have the innate potential of healing ourselves, then we can also use it as preventive. Then why would an engineer say art nahi kar sakte? Okay, now let me ask you a quick question. How many of you think you're an artist? How many of you are an artist? My daughter's not putting her hand up. She's a lawyer. There you go, right? So the ones who don't think you're an artist, why? Why? Huh?
I don't think I'm good with drawing and painting and...
Right. So she's not spent this kind of time with me other than my parenting, but the art, okay, if a mother is not able to, is a mother master chef or she's a cook? She's a mother. What is she?
Master chef.
She's a master chef too, right? But every mother is able to cook. All of us are able to cook. So, are we not a cook if we are not master chef? It's coming in, huh? Who said yes? So, if we are not able to cook, that means we're not master chef. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little confused over here. But, if cooking is innate in us, every part of creativity, whether it be art, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's drama, everybody is doing a drama every day, drama of life, whether it's culinary, everybody can do that. Why? Because in the primitive time, words came later, creativity came first. So this is how we need to tap this potential lying in us and maybe use it as a hobby, maybe use it as a therapy. We're going to go further to understand it more, right? So as you can see, that table is how my art therapy sessions at VIMHANS are. Is that attractive or no?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I remember when I joined VIMHANS, I think around 14 years back, yeah, 13 years back. So I saw the patients in the IPD absolutely head down and they were not able to do anything that time. And when I saw that, and I knew that why I'm needed over here. And I had a studio and I packed up everything and I came to VIMHANS. And after that, we have this kind of a setup every day. Then music therapy came, then movement therapy came, and culinary therapy was already there, but now it's more expansive, more interactive. And now when the patients come to the hospital, they say it is like Big Boss. It is like an ashram. And they don't have any stigma. They don't really feel stigmatized in the hospital anymore. And they also say that, हम यहाँ ठीक है, बाहर वालों को ठीक कर दो. Yeah. So this is how happy, and even a journalist, when we were giving her around, she'd come from Canada. I can't forget all these feedback, when she said, this is the happy place. I've never seen a mental health place so happy. My mother-in-law, who's very scared of hospitals, and I took her, we had this Diwali Mela with all the artwork happened by the patients. And she was very scared. She says, this is one place I'm not feeling scared of. So that's what creativity can do. So to move further, let's understand what is art therapy. Art therapy is a form of psychotherapy that uses visual and tactile media as a means of self-expression and communication. Art therapists aim to support people of all ages and abilities and at all stages of life to discover an outlet for often complex and confused feelings and foster self-awareness and growth. So it's a fostering journey, right? Painting, drawing, sculpture and collage are just a few of the many skills. So we can, if I'm comfortable with craft, I can express through craft, right? Some people may have some memory issues or various cognitive disabilities. So craft really helps in that. When we have CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy. In art therapy, we call it CBAT, that is cognitive behavioral art therapy, in which we are using the tactile experience and we are entering the fearful zone and releasing that fear out of our system. Face your fears, right? And whether it's even sculpture. So if one has got, one is feeling very, let's say, uncomfortable even touching the clay, then how they are able to blend into it gradually, it's a magic. Art therapy is so magical, yeah? It gives people a secure environment in which one can safely address inner conflicts. So here in art therapy, the client is the hot seat. The client is the person who, when we are interacting as an art therapist with the client, we create a situation or create a session where we are actually learning from them. How? Because I don't know what's going on in that person's mind. And that person, when the client is drawing and showing me the artwork, the client is actually talking. When the client sees the artwork, the client is looking at the artwork as if her own life, his own life, and telling me what's going on. And that expression, that vocal, verbal expression of what is going on in my life, I am learning from them. And that position of I am learning from you helps them to really release their stress, and helps them to feel that there's nothing really wrong with me. I just need direction. I just need to discover myself, right? Explore emotions and develop self-awareness. It aims to reduce distress and improve social, emotional and mental health by promoting insight. So insight is very, very important. We've done our assessments in it, and wherein the insight development is really ends up happening depending on person to person, right? Now there are two terms in art therapy which is very, very interesting. One is art as a therapy and one is art in therapy. So art as a therapy is like, you can see this, the father and daughter, like when it's not a therapy session under supervision of the art therapist, how the art materials are all available, they're there, they're spread around, and how they're spending that this is called dyadic approach, how they're spending that quality time laughing, and creating art together. So this is art as a therapy other than under the supervision of the art therapist. Art as a therapy is also done by the artists, and also we can use it, we use this term more like in hobby, like say if I have a client who's taken art therapy, who's been in art therapy with me for some time, but I'm not really giving art classes, then I just tell them to join some art classes. So that works as art as a therapy. Art in therapy is when we are in a journey of self-transformation. And that transformation can happen only under the supervision of art therapists. The art therapist actually behaves like a facilitator there. A bit of history, not a bit, I think just maybe a little bit about the history of art therapy. So that's Edith Kramer. Edith Kramer, all the protagonists of art therapy across the world, they have been actually the artists. And they are the ones who actually discover that when I'm doing art, I'm feeling better, my emotions are better, my physical health is better, which Sharon is going to share with you about one of the protagonists, the father of art therapy. And Edith Kramer believed that, so she used to work with the children with special need, and she used to believe the change in art she would notice as a change, she would see the change in the child. So on day one, the artwork that the child has done, and then day 4, the artwork that the same child has done, that artwork was actually projecting the change in the child. And that's how the art therapy got developed further, understanding, right? So the artwork is basically the projection of the person's unconscious feelings, minds. And in our Indian history, when I did art therapy and I wanted to bring it to, more, let's say, awareness, that's the time I was told by my seniors that, I wanted to bring people coming from London because that's where I've done my certificate course from. And they said, why there? Why not our country? So I went to National Art Gallery, Museum, History Museum of History of India, and then I found about Chitra Sutra. So Chitra Sutra is an appendix of Vishnu Purana. In Vishnu Purana, there is a chapter called Vishnu Dharmotra. Sorry, appendix is Vishnu Dharmotra, and the chapter is with Chitra Sutra, in which art as a therapy is mentioned very clearly. So, and even Varli art is actually the art that promotes auspiciousness. So it's already been there. So that's why art therapy has taken its own time to come to Asia, because it's already has been incorporated in our daily life. Like if you see in South, you will have the house owners, they would be making rangoli every morning on their verandas. And we have in our country the temple architecture, and even as per, I'm sure there are many other culture, but as far as I feel, to me what's left an impact is the culture in Kolkata, in Bengal, that how the foundation of every child is made first of all through creativity. Yeah. Who is art therapy suitable for? It's suitable for all age group, yeah, from child to elderly. So it can, for all culture experiences, so I've worked with NGO, I do work with the NGO also, and I'm wanting to really, that's my vision, that the villages should have a studio wherein they're, the people who are not able to really educate themselves, not having any formal education, how they can at least use that innate creativity in them to draw and also express their emotions, their feelings, their troubles, their disturbances. If there is an easel, if there is a studio in one of the centers every day, and we put up an exhibition, that's how the world can heal. The art has the potential to heal the world, right? So it can help in illnesses, which Rita and Anu are also going to be sharing. What to expect when you start art therapy? There is nothing like a special art room, but yes, we just have to be a little careful about the, some objects. So when I joined VIMHANS, initially, even if I would put up the artwork on the wall of the patients to encourage them, motivate them, they also were like missile. The next morning you would come, they'll be all torn. And gradually how they began to blend the bonding, the magical transformation with great, great support, all the great support that I got from my seniors and the management. That freedom, that liberation that they got to express themselves. As you can see, this is another center, not VIMHANS, but this was a VIMHANS project. All we had to do was make Edward Adamson, basically, a little diversion over here. Edward Adamson is called the father of art therapy. So he had a studio in Netherton Hospital, the outskirts of Netherton Hospital in UK. He had opened the studio for the patients from the World War II, affected from the World War II, the PTSD. And he had the studio absolutely open for the patients to just walk in, and he would see them absolutely mute. Trauma. They would just draw, they would walk out. They would paint, they would walk out. So there's a beautiful book called Art as Healing, written by him, in which he's written cases after cases, that after 3-4 days or few days of artwork, how they themselves began to talk to Edward Adamson, how they began to express verbally. Yeah? So that concept in art therapy has been incorporated as open door studio approach. So that's the kind of approach we had at VIMHANS. So in this kind of an approach, all we need is safety. The artwork is displayed now. We need no sharpeners. Everything has to be prepared, like Vijay Lakshmi, our artist, who really sits with the patients and occupies them, so we can't keep sharpeners, so we keep everything ready for them. And definitely less objects, but supervision is very important, so that at times if the emotions stir, they don't get violent. Even if they do, we are there to take care of them. Yeah. So that's on a very chronic stage. But for, let's say, art as a therapy, we need music like we have today. We need music, we need some art materials, and we need a very confidential environment and a very sensitive environment, what we're going to experience today. Do I have to be good at art? I think I've already touched this point. No. Okay, that's going to her. Okay, what does art therapy session entail? So the client makes art and talk, which may be done at the same time. You can draw. So two of my clients, they are never looking at me eye to eye. They're always drawing while talking to me. Yeah, which is like an anchor for them, something to hold on to feel good to talk. When making art, you can choose materials that best suit you. Example, paint, pastel. So the art material, as I showed you in the first image, is how for art therapy, the materials are spread out. And so it's up to you, whichever you want to pick up. Yeah, the art therapist may sit quietly and pay attention while the client makes art, and the therapist may make art alongside the client. So I also, when I'm working with clay, I have clay in my hand. So they are working with clay, and I'm talking to them while I'm playing with the clay, depending on the client's approach during each session. So here I have a case to share. So 2 cases, just day before yesterday, one of my client, on a very tragic situation, she lost her father 2 weeks back. And she's been coming to me, passed around a couple of years. And she was definitely not in a very good state of mind. So I just gave her clay to help her to transfer, to radiate all her pain into that clay. And I kept another clay in my hand. And she was very upset. She was very angry. But that clay helped her to contain herself. Yeah. Second case was that he came in a very, very happy mood yesterday after a gap of 2 weeks session, really looking forward. And he's a good artist but doesn't do art much. And he said, I'm in a very good mood, I'm feeling much better, etc., etc. And then I just started this activity with him. And that activity somehow hit him. And he said, can I go a little early today? I said, all right. So because that activity had hit him, and that was the whole idea. But I didn't want him to go. I said, come with me. So we sat at our table. I said, let's just work with clay. So we worked with clay, and I just put on the music. We didn't talk. Our communication was only through clay. So we didn't talk for 15-20 minutes. He just didn't want to talk. And he ended up making, I wish I had given the image to be put up, he ended up making an oyster with a pearl. And that's the book I've been working on. I don't know when it's going to get over. And the name of the book is basically something closer to that each person's emotion is as precious as a pearl. And he made it, and he couldn't believe it. That's when I told him that. And he said, I've had one of the best sessions today. So that's what art can do, non-verbal communication. Yeah. How can you access art therapy? Today, art therapy is not in the medical books, so the referral is a bit challenging. But the doctors, if they send the referral, definitely it is to engage yourself in art. Today, art therapy is not even a licensed program, but if you have a degree, if you're graduated and you have a qualification in psychology, sociology, social work, in any health and care area, and you're an artist, you're an art teacher working with children, then first of all you could refer to such people who've trained in art therapy, and such people coming from this background are taking training in art therapy today. Yeah, even a couple of psychiatrists have taken training in art therapy, because it's a beautiful connection they end up as. It really helps you to bond with the client, Vision of art therapy, very, very important. Today, when I was coming over here, losing my modesty, but I really, really want to share with you, past 2-3 days, I was down with fever, flu, sinus, and everybody kept on saying, will you be able to? Will you be able to? Whoever you talk to, will you be able to go? I said, I will go. I said, I'm not going for myself. I'm not going for anything, but I'm going for art therapy. I am going because it's my vision and it's going to happen. There is no way that I'm not going to be able to convey what I want to convey today. So this is my vision, and this is our vision. Our vision is of a society where the arts and art therapies are recognized as an essential and integral part of supporting and improving well-being and mental health. A society where art therapy is accessible and widely available in health and social care, educational and other settings to help people to achieve good mental health and reach their full potential. So I remember when my mom was hospitalized and I used to go and see her in East Delhi, crossing 25 kilometers, Ana Jana 50 kilometers. That lane I used to enter, and it used to be just filled with hospitals. And that's the time I promised myself, and I am going to make it happen, that there are going to be more of preventive healthcare centers than hospitals. Is that right? Yeah? So the preventive healthcare centers is going to be something like where there's heart therapy, where there is music therapy happening, where people are just entering, whether in wheelchair, whether going through any kind of stress, they can just come with membership, and they come over there and they heal themselves. They play music together, they dance together, they do art together. Can we have that vision? Yes. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you. So now I would like to invite my speakers, lovely, beautiful human beings, and they're here. I requested them in case they can share with all of us their own personal experience, because art therapy is not the best thing about art therapy. I'm not going to use a negative word. The best thing about art therapy is that we experience it from our own life. It's not theoretical. Yeah? So here are 3 cases, 3 beautiful experiences, and I would like to invite over Sharon, Anu, and Rita. Please join me here. So I will let them introduce themselves. Yeah, I can start with Rita.
Hi, I'm Rita Baga, and
Mike.
sorry. Hi, I'm Rita Baga. What should I say? It's been my hobby to do art, craft, and create a lot of what should I say? Lot of things like in the house or anywhere. And I'm a school teacher. I'm a play school teacher. And my children love to do art with me. So it's, what should I say more about myself is, I've had wonderful experiences through art in my life, which I will share with you later after we all introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Anu Gupta. I am an artist. I trained from an art school, and later in life I trained in art therapy. And yeah, life has been full of experiences which I will share with you about.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm a master's student in clinical psychology, and currently I'm an intern at VIMHANS.
Sharon, would you like to start? Yeah.
So firstly, I would like to say that I'm grateful to VIMHANS and to Sonia ma'am for this opportunity and to learn art as a therapy. And it has been a very, it has like given me a very new perspective to see the creativeness that helps us articulate our feelings which cannot be done verbally. And so like ma'am also said about the history that I would be talking about. So initially when we started doing the workshop with ma'am, so there is a pioneer in art therapy, he is Adrian Hill. So he was suffering from tuberculosis and he was admitted in the hospital, and to overcome the stress of him, he started to do drawing and painting. And then he realized that that was something that helped him overcome his illness a little bit sooner. So that was something that, that's just a history of him which I got really interested, and I really liked that perspective, and that's when art therapy began. And personally, when we as an interns did therapy with ma'am, we could understand ourselves in a very better way. We could connect to ourselves deeply, and as it is said that art is a non-verbal expression and of a way of communicating. So it really did affect me deeply in a transformative way, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, good evening everyone. Can I be heard? I'd like to first thank VIMHANS, Mind Diaries and Sonia Bhandari for inviting us to speak and share our journey here.
Little
I'm a
louder.
very hesitant speaker on the stage, so please allow me to read what I've written because I cannot memorize it anymore. Yeah, so just
That's okay.
So life has been kind, and my journey, like everyone else, is full of experiences and stories. I've had my share of struggles and challenges, along with many good seasons, and full of joy and some deeply painful ones too. And through all this, I've developed a deep understanding of life. My journey with art therapy began 7 years back, but my experience with mental health began at the age of 7, when I unknowingly became a caregiver and support to my mother, who suffered from a psychological disorder called bipolar, which I think most of you must be aware of. She was very creative, intelligent, and way ahead of her times in more ways than one. Sadly, her mood swings became major obstacles as she swung from being manic to feeling very low every few months. She was an artist, and I now recall that her most happy and therapeutic days was when she painted or taught batik to her students. Today, I understand that in a way that was art therapy, and she healed through art. To quote Pablo Picasso, which is already here, art washes away the soul in the dust of everyday life. Art can help people keep their minds and hearts open to new experiences and avoid boredom and depression. I'm married to a doctor and have often heard him mention how a lot of illnesses and are psychosomatic and are brought on by our mental states. He also helped me understand my mother's condition in depth, and over the years I became more sensitized to mental health issues and often played agony aunt to several friends, family and colleagues. I myself graduated from an art school and have had a very satisfying career for over 3 decades in different fields of design. Then a few years ago, an inner search began as I was looking for something more meaningful. Basically, my ikigai, a Japanese concept that means a reason for being or your life purpose, which I think at this age we all get there sometime. So it was then that I learned of art therapy through a friend, and this led me to Sonia Bhandari, and my study of the subject began with her. Each lesson involved doing some art which, along with learning, was my personal therapy too. It opened up so much that I had buried somewhere deep inside me over the years. All this surfaced with every drawing that I did. I began painting again after a very long time, because in design you tend to move away from fine art. So she got me back into fine art again and pulling out canvases and paints again in the house. And gradually this started clearing all the accumulated trauma, doubt and confusion. Art connects us to our emotions and reveals stories that we have stored in our minds over very long periods of time. And we may not even be aware of the damage that they are causing. During my course, I had a major setback to my health as I suffered from sudden sensory neural hearing loss, in which the nerve dies, and overnight I lost complete hearing in 1 year, and it still hasn't come back. So this brought on a lot of vertigo initially, a lot of other issues, and tinnitus, which is a sound and a buzzing in the ear, which is a continuous sound even now. And it's extremely difficult and unnerving, but one learns to live with it, and that's how I'm dealing. But I'm immensely grateful that I was in the midst of my art therapy course, and this helped me to cope and not spiral down into depression, which is very natural when anything hits us and we get thrown off balance completely. We just tend to say, why me? We start beginning into question and pity ourselves and then eventually get depressed. But I think doing art therapy kept me afloat. Sonia ensured that I finished my studies and internship at VIMHANS and encouraged me to paint and release my emotions through art. One creative expression led to another, and I began writing poems as well. This is something that I had never done earlier. And one fine day, words just started popping up into my head. So I think one sense went and another just came alive. In the last few years, I've been working with clients of varying ages, suffering from anxiety and depression, and I use art as a therapy. The results are heartwarming, and each time that a person heals, it affirms my thoughts about the power of doing art. Art is not only therapeutic, it taps into our subconscious minds, revealing issues we may not be aware of consciously, and very often not aware of why our present behavior is being, what is it being dictated by. As adults, we don't know why we are reacting to situations in certain ways, so that's what really comes up when you start doing art. It helps children, adults, and elderly to express emotions, which most often cannot be described in words. It also helps develop motor skills and cognition. Everyone can draw and paint, as Sonia said, but sadly most of us leave it untapped as we grow older because our conditioning is in the bachon ka kaam. So I request all of you today to pick up your colors and brushes and have real fun as you did when you were children and heal yourselves without even realizing it. Training in art therapy has added a new and very meaningful dimension to my life, and I once again feel reconnected to my true self daily. Thank you.
Rita, near the mic.
Oh, yeah, it's there. My name is Rita, and I'm going to share with you my blissful journey of art as a therapy. I was into art since my childhood days. Fortunately, I had psychology as my subject in my graduation term. I got to know about art therapy from Google as I wanted to use art for better prospects than as a talent. I connected with Sonia and got training of the concepts of art therapy and more so my personal therapy. In the year 2019, I suffered a heart issue in which my heart function went down to 25%, and my doctor advised me surgery immediately. I was a little scared, but I didn't give up. While I was being told by the doctor about my condition, trust me, I'm not lying. I was battling with my thoughts, but one thing was clear, laughing away to myself that I should revert this situation without a surgery. I was like, let me show you, doctor, that I can do it and come back to you in a month with a normal heart function. I confirmed if we could wait for a month for the surgery and was reassured. I came back home, went to the stationery shop, took canvases of all the different sizes one could think of. I started right away, one after the other. I was unstoppable. Didn't look at the day or night or time, anything. Just going on and on. Don't be surprised or shocked. I created 70 pieces of art in a month. A month ended and it was time to visit my doctor for a final decision. The doctor did the needful on test, etc. and imagine what he told me. What have you done, Rita? I got scared for a minute. I said, maybe, it's gone down or something. He's going to take me in for a surgery. So he says, I got astonished first of all. So he said, my heart rate had come up to 35%. And no surgery was required. Medicines, of course, were prescribed. Art is this wonder. I was confident I would do it. This confidence kept me going through the month. And I would just like to, this I haven't written, but while I was sitting here, I just want to share with everyone, recently about in the month of February this year, I was going through some anxiety issues, my personal, and I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't want to go to anyone, talk about it, or maybe, it was just that I wanted to heal myself. So I just thought of doing art, and I got about 7-8 books, those, and I started. And within 3 months, I created 200 pages. Wow. This I had not written. Recently, I added it here. And it was unknowingly, in all this, what I'm trying to, send across, put across to everyone, and send this, beautiful message. Unknowingly, I was healing myself. It was not just art. It was not just, and it was not just one kind of art. I love to do multimedia art. It is not just one ki maine ek painting bana liya and it's done. No. I used to do a couple of forms of art, not just one. So what I feel is art is divine, and it's the only therapy which healed me emotionally, physically and mentally. And there's some little, very little, sayings which are not mine, of course. I don't know who's written them, but I've just found them and they really touched my heart. So it's like art is stored honey of the human soul. And I paint my own reality. This I always believe in myself, because whenever I paint, I see somewhere it's me, it's there it is. So, and it's not just doing art as a form, it's you speaking with art. So I say to myself, I speak art fluently. And I would just like to conclude with my favorite saying, which is art is bhakti, art is therapy, and art is meditation. And thank you, Sonia, for giving me this honor to be sitting here today. And thank you, VIMHANS, of course, and thank you everyone for listening to me, because I wasn't prepared for this, to have a big, but yeah, it's been fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rita, Anu, and Sharon. And anybody else would like to share their experience in art? Hello. Would you like to share anything?
Hi everyone. Hello. Yeah. I am now pursuing my PhD in art therapy, and this is happening all because of Sonia ma'am and the training that she provided. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the chance to, learn about it, especially here in India, when there aren't many training opportunities here. And I have also been taking sessions. I'm working with children and childcare homes, and yeah, a little case that I can also share is about a child. She lost her father when she was around 8, and she was also then abandoned by her mother. and that's how she ended up living in a childcare home. And when I was visiting the center, she seemed to be very disconnected with herself, and she seemed distant with other people around as well. So through the sessions that I took, in her art, I saw the movement from understanding herself, her emotions, and then growing into, a more, she had like a more integrated, cohesive sense of self by the end of the sessions, like by the time we concluded. So yeah, I mean, I have also seen it in practice through other people and also by myself as well.
Yes, thank you so much. And so before we start art and go for more discussion, I think I want to close the slides. Pablo Picasso said, art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life that is there. And I want to close the PPT with a very, very important image of today, and that's my mother. So she's the one who's sown the seed. For me, I feel she's the one who's sown the seed. And yes, and now we can move forward with art, right? So are we all ready? Great. Okay, so I don't think I have a topic as such, yeah, because then again it will become like an external anchor. You have your inner anchors, right? Communicate with your feeling today, what you're feeling, and give it an image. Alright? And when you draw an image, you can also write if you want to. So connect with your feeling and give it an image. Got it? So go ahead. 3 things. Number 1 is definitely in the group. It's a contained area, okay, where the confidentiality is definitely your right. You can share whatever you want to share. You don't want to share but you're happy doing the artwork, that's entirely up to you, right? But just to participate, because we're not doing this for any kind of professional reasons, but we are doing it to experience it. So for just participation, who would like to volunteer? Who all would like to volunteer and share? Yeah, yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Anusha. I'm a master's in psychology student at Manavachana, and this is my first art therapy session, and I have to say I quite well enjoyed it. And I know some of you might not like me for this, but I do enjoy the history more than the art because I'm into reading, so I'm very sorry for that. But as for my experience, not much of an art person, but when the first question ma'am asked was who thinks here is an artist, and I was one of the people to raise my hands. Ma'am, a little loophole, my art might not be this, but I do understand a little bit of writing. Like ma'am said, she writes poems. It came to me in a beautiful time. So you said I could write. So I ended up writing one of mine. So I'm actually quite proud of the white sheet that I've created. That's about it.
Would you like to read the poem?
I'm okay if everybody is okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's called One Day. One day I know I will be proud. One day I believe I will be found. One day I need no other sound but the drums in my heart pounding. That day the fragrance of my soul will help me see through the darkest of caves, and that day I'll know who I am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Anybody else? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I had a very, I'm a psychology student at Santosh Medical College, Ghaziabad, and so we get to see patients on a daily basis. And today I was supposed to take case history of a patient who just came out of nowhere. She had a lot in her mind, and there was no one in the department because people had gone to something. So I was basically assigned to this patient with no knowledge of what is her situation basically. And I had very different ideas in my mind about what her story might be, what her, my eyes are blurring, what her situation might be. But throughout the process, I was very much focusing on just me, like ये बोलेगी तो मैं ये करूँगा, ये ऐसा होगा तो वैसा होगा, and it went a completely different route. Like the first drawing I made was of the patient next to the chair, next to the table, and I was like, this ain't about her, this is about me. So the next drawing I made was about myself. Throughout the being in psychology, you are expected to just listen to the other person, be understanding, which is true. You have to be understanding and a good listener. But sometimes you also forget to put yourself on. You have to take care of your health as well as you're taking care of others. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. So I had that moment today in that session because for 2 hours she continuously told everything in her mind, and instead of me thinking like wow, she's able to connect itna deeply कि वो share कर पा रही सब कुछ, I was like इसका मुंह बंद क्यों नहीं हो रहा, like when will she stop? So that was my initial reaction, but like now I was making my perspective of the experience. I'm like, that is kind of selfish, but also like you need to know both sides of the coin. Uske liye she might not have any other outlet besides me on that day specifically to vent out for 2 hours non-stop. But for me, it was another reason to reassess why I'm doing this, why am I training in this field, and what that brings to her and what I bring to her and to future patients. So I'm glad I did this thing. I'm already an artist otherwise as well, so for me it's very enjoyable to do art where there is no business side of things or no like personal standards. Like this is a sketch kind of situation for me, and this is very freeing. I mean, like it's pretty. If I don't have to worry about shading or the exact color or exact vibe or aesthetic, it is very freeing. in that sense. So I'm glad I did this. Sorry for taking so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing what you shared, and I'm so glad that you were able to express your experience. You must have been so preoccupied with your experience that you've been. Are you feeling a little lighter after drawing?
Yeah, a lot.
Wonderful. So it's not little, a lot. Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, yes. Okay.
I came late for the program, and immediately when I saw, I didn't get this, and I chose a chair which has color pencils and sketch pen. Didn't even listen. I started this as my first pick.
Okay.
Okay. It came automatic, therapeutic. I do not know what my neighbors thought or anything. And the next one, I started dabbling this when you said what to do. I don't know why I wrote happy birthday, what does it mean or anything. It's not my birthday today. But yes, whenever I see colors with me with pen or anything, I doodle a lot. So when I see that, I feel light. I used to use pens and doodles a lot. Some say from a therapeutic point of view it's good, but they say from you leave some footprints over there, people might think about it. That's what people used to say. So when I get a pen or something, it comes automatically gets into it. I do not know if it's there. But it's totally abstract. I don't go for any formative painting, so totally abstract, do whatever paint that and then.
So happy to hear that. Really, really happy to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, over to...
Hi everybody, I'm Rita and by profession I am an artist. I worked with Hindustan Times as Deputy Art Director, but now I quit the job and at home. And now I'm working in craft and designing. When I left the job, I got injury on my ankle, which is, took 8 to 9 months to recover. So I was totally on bed during that time. So that time I felt very low because earlier I used to work, that is long hours in office, and suddenly I was at home and on bed. So I just started working on crayons. So I just got my sketchbook and started doing work on crayons. That was my first time when I started crayons. So I tried that and went on good. So after that I felt okay. And when I recovered from that, I've done that's post-graduation from NIFT in craft design and development. So now I'm totally in craft designing and painting. So that is why, I got recovered from that. Because that time was very bad, because at bed and you can't do anything. So that time I've done, come on that, painting. That. Actually I'm very close to nature, so I've just done that only.
So you like nature, and that's what you...
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I write some poems also.
So now, keeping the paucity of time over here, I think we'll, as a closure of everyone, for everyone, are you all okay doing art? Yes. All of you've experienced? Yes. You finally drew, right? So, I'm sorry we cannot really cover everyone, but please do take this feeling of expressing through art along with you as a memorable moment among all of us. Yeah? Thank you so much. Thank you.